It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Bennie Randall Show. I'm your host, Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator. And this powerful show brings you conversations with today's stars and tomorrow's legends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Come on.
It's the Bennie Randall Show. 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 I love that Bennie Randall. I love that Bennie Randall. I love that Bennie Randall Show. Yeah. I love that Bennie Randall. I love that Bennie Randall. I love that Bennie Randall Show. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Bennie Randall Show. I'm your host, Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator, aka Global Entrepreneur and Investor. And it is my humble pleasure that you allow me into your homes and your hearts. Today's show is like no other show. We have an extraordinary entrepreneur that's here to share their wisdoms and their nuggets. So hope that you may improve the life that you are living. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to BennieRandall.com, or to watch full episodes of this, you can go to Vanoy Media on YouTube.com, or check us out at Vanoy.com for all your audiobooks and everything. And also on to our sponsors, Vanoy Magazine, the magazine for entrepreneurs. Make sure you get a chance and go over to VanoyMag.com and show some love. This show is an extraordinary show. I have an entrepreneur that, many of you know her, from her podcast that had millions of people on her podcast. And, she's been on hiatus for a minute, but she decided to grant us this sneak peek back before she comes back out. And we're going to be talking about the cost of mental health. Okay, which is a very, very important topic that many people are listening to, but are they really hearing and what's really involved? Okay, I'm going to bring her in so she can give you the in-depth of what we're talking about. Miss Tanisha, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing, Bennie?
You know, I'm blessed and highly favored, walking in the light, one of the chosen ones. I'm just glad to be here. Thank you so much. For those that might not be aware of you, Tanisha, can you give them a little insight on, one, this topic that we're talking about, and two, why is it so important?
Well, a little insight on me. I have been in the medical field for over 30 years, and I am a regional director for a children's hospital, like a specialty hospital. I work with kids with illnesses, behaviors. I've worked with, again, for 30 years, I've worked with a little bit of everybody. And I've been an alchemist for a long time, and I just brought it back to the head. But as for the topic at hand, the future of these kids, the future of mental health.
The cost of mental health. This is what's in.
It's the cost. It is a cost. It's a
let's
very
talk about
serious
this. And why do you decide to focus on the cost of mental health and starting with the kids? Why is that so important to you?
Well, because the kids are, quote unquote, our future. We look at them as these are our new leaders and what they're going to be. And right now, they're a little messed up. Right now, there is not enough money being spent. So what's going to happen is the cost going to go up, because we're looking at the average age of kid that's having some mental health now is like 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Some as early as 5.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of facilities are having to lower the age, and when they admit kids into a mental institution, that was unheard of when we was kids.
Mm-hmm. So
Literally unheard of.
Let me ask you, why now? What has changed, which is causing this this surge in understanding mental health and needing mental health? Do you think social media had something to do with it?
Absolutely. In my strong opinions, I think just screen time in general has affected the whole culture. The whole generation is really affected by how much we have to rely and have a screen in front of us. Some of us sleep with our phones. I don't know. Some of us always on it. They got to check their email. For some people, the phone is a computer system. I've seen little bitty babies in strollers with iPads. And I've
Wow.
seen the parents try to take them away from them, and the kid acts a complete fool.
Mm.
Just cut all the way up, and they
So,
have no control.
so let me ask you something. Do you think the digital age is what's causing this upsurge in people actually needing mental health? And because these kids are growing up in the digital age, as we see, a lot of times, Tanisha, you'll see a group of kids walking down the street and they're all on their phone. They're not even paying attention to each other. It seems like we're losing, the communication aspect, that not being on the phone and not being on social media is being lost. What is your thoughts?
My thoughts is exactly that. I mean, I looked at me and my own kids. My kids are grown, and me and my own kids are sitting at the dinner table. Everybody's on their phone.
Mhm.
Everybody is on their phone. So we tried to make a rule, and it's kind of hard to implement old stuff to these, new stuff to old kids. It's like, but I mean, we started playing a game while we were waiting on our food. We all
What
just
is
started playing a game together or something. We play charades. We try to guess stuff just to stay off the phone, even though it's still to some degree you're still relying on it. My
hmm
phone broke and I almost died. Shit. I was looking everywhere for my phone. I was messed
Wow.
up about my
So,
phone.
so it's fair to say that even us at a different generation
Absolutely.
is now being affected by what we call this social media and this whole thing of people not even paying attention to what's happening to their mental health. So let me ask you something. Tell me some of the problems that you're witnessing as you've been in this for 30 years when it comes to mental health. Tell me about some of the things that you're recognizing that are
So
happening now to our youth.
a lot of stuff is not labeled, and it's not probably not fair to label it. But like now, parents don't want to deal with no type of disagreement or argument with the kids, so they immediately are labeled with ADHD, um, autistic spectrum disorder, which is the big one, which you put everything else in. You got kids that got OCD. You have because we do have so much social media presence, and you commented myself because I got caught up in the AI thing on there where they take the little fancy AI pictures and make you look all cute and put you in places. Well,
Right.
the avatar is so real. Everybody has an avatar of some sort, even on my quote unquote my profile. Technically it's Facebook, but it's my profile, right? And I'm
hmm
proud of it. I may even have multiple ones or something like that. But this whatever picture I decide to put up there, whatever occupation or person I choose to be, it was so funny when Facebook I fall into a realm where Facebook had a whole bunch of deacons and priests and all this. Like it was like all this different church on here. But my point is with the avatar, people don't have like you said, the communication piece falls off. They don't know how to talk. And there's some kind of personality dysmorphia. I don't
Mm,
want to be
interesting.
me. And we've seen a spike in that with a lot of people confused about what gender they want to be. Because you think about it, the AI can be, I don't know, gender neutral. It doesn't have a gender. It doesn't have I mean, it's just a lot of different things that people don't even get, that personality dysmorphia, the body dysmorphia, because I don't like the way I look. So now I'm not going to eat. I think that it has a lot to do with a lot of different things. I mean, there was one point where when you choose to be vegan or you choose to be vegetarian, that's a wonderful choice. But then it came off as pressure and a fad at one point. Like,
hmm
oh, and then there was people who couldn't stick with it.
I do this and you don't do this. So why aren't you doing this?
Right.
I've never been that person, but I have witnessed people have that
Yeah.
experience. So I totally
But there's a
understand.
whole culture of it, even in the spiritual realm. I'm more spiritual than you. I'm more religious than you, and this and that. It is really a lot of people don't understand it, but it's a mental disorder. To
Hmm.
some, let me not say disorder. Let me say it's definitely dysregulated. It's easy to say I am um, dysregulated with my anger management, or I'm dysregulated with these things. It's easier to say that than to call somebody flat out crazy, because that's the part that people are scared of. So we ignore a lot of this mental health situation. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. So let me ask you this then. What are you fearing the most now, being in this 30 years and seeing, the rate of kids that are committing suicide, the rate of kids that are non-social. We call this social media, but you're finding a lot of people are more not social than they are. So to me, I call it
Social.
like the anti-social media. You know what I mean? But
Right.
a lot of people are not social no more. They will. All right, here's a perfect example. Have you ever called somebody on have you ever text somebody, right? And then they don't reply. So then, no, they reply, but then you call them and they won't pick up. And then they'll text you why they didn't pick up. It's almost like saying, I'd rather text you than
Mhm.
actually have a human communication with you. What, what,
Absolutely.
what, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that is another personality dysmorphia to some degree. It's my avatar is not ready to be social and know you. It's almost like, now people don't do real face-to-face interviews. They don't even know how. A younger generation. We was taught those things. They're not taught that. They're not held to those restraints to do it. Um, and to your point, when you were talking about younger kids committing suicide and all those other things, social media has done a lot. But I will say it's done good too. I think
Hmm.
what happened is we've abused it. We've
Like with
abused.
like with everything else, everything,
Yeah.
you make something good for a good cause, and then it morphs into the mentality and the energy of all the people that are utilizing it, and it becomes something totally different.
Well, I mean, it's no different than we know a lot of our society and our world has changed. Actually, I wasn't playing it. I was reading a card game. I was cheating. I was reading the cards and reading the answers. There was a box. It was just sitting there. Don't judge me. But one of the questions was, where is the most money in the world? And I'm thinking this country, that country, blah blah blah. And the answer was in the computer, because
Mhm.
most money is not physical money. It's not. It's just not.
So
We
you
don't even know what that kind of physical money actually looks like. Most money is e-commerce, or not necessarily Bitcoin, but it's digitized. It doesn't really exist. So
so
some
are
of
you,
even the richest
saying
people,
because of the growth of social media and the growth of AI somehow is affecting how we do day-to-day transactions?
everything, everything. I mean, it's
Okay.
almost taboo to catch me with cash on me.
Interesting.
No, I found some cash on me. I just don't keep a lot of cash.
So let me ask you something. As far as socialism when it comes to kids communicating with each other, because you remember it's back in the days you used to have to go to a party to meet new people. You used to have to
Mhm.
go outside to meet new people. You usually had to go to an event to meet new people. Now you can get on the internet and meet people from around the world and so-called create these connections and relationships that are not even real.
But
um
they believe they're real. I mean, these people are in love. They'll move across the world with a complete stranger, quote unquote, if they ever get that far. But no, I think it's unfair to say that if it's not real, because I think it's just the convenience. There's a difference between the microwave age and and what we know that we had to go and heat everything up on the pot and assemble things together, where now it really is microwave. It's microwave in dating. You can swipe right or swipe left, and you don't even have to ever communicate with anybody, because you can get enough off of the profile to determine if this is a go or a no. And then same thing with when you talk to them. Talk to them a little bit, don't like them, get back online, keep swiping. Keep swiping. I think along with that microwave age comes the I'm never satisfied, or can I be satisfied?
That is powerful. So let me ask you this then. Where do we go from here, and what do you see happening?
Like
because you are dealing with the most priceless people being our kids. What's the solutions? Let's talk about some solutions, because we can talk about the problems all day long. Let's talk about
these kids need to go back to going outside.
So who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? The parent.
I didn't birth that one. So that one needs to be that parent's responsibility. Well, my opinion, but they have given up. They've been beat down. I've never seen so many kids beating their parents up. I mean, biting them, beating them, tearing up property, and just, there's no words to explain what I've seen. I mean, literally, I seen a kid break a window with his head, not once, twice.
Because he was having a tantrum or something?
Yes.
Okay.
And the parents are going, I don't know what triggers him. Or there's kids, you know what? They constantly want to eat, so the parents keep giving them food. It's so many different variables to this, but these are our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I don't even know what makes them functional. What I want to know, Tanisha, like me and you.
Let me say, then what I want to know is, what is the solution? Okay, you said one solution is getting them back outside. But if the parents are the ones who are working 2 and 3 jobs, they don't have the time to be with the kids. They're not giving that attention. Some parents are really rich, so they're able to just buy them stuff in place of real time and communication, with the kids. So what am I getting? I guess I'm asking, the parents are part of the problem, so they have to be part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
So
but a lot of them, like you said, they don't have time, so they want drugs. Drug my kid, make him better.
Do you believe that's what most parents think?
I think that's what a lot of parents have resulted to.
Okay.
Because at some point, how long can you do it? He's 17 now, and he's only gotten worse. How long can you do it?
Okay, so in your professional opinion, what needs to happen with the parents and in order to solve it? Because we can talk about the problems all day long, and that doesn't solve anything. So my question to you, in your professional opinion, what are the solutions that need to be implemented to, if we can't stop it, at least make people aware and slow it down so that we can focus more on mental health? What do the parents need to do?
Screen away. Put a measure on screen time. You get XYZ days or time that an hour a day or whatever. Take the screen away. I think the screen is causing autism, it's causing early Parkinson's. It's all kinds of stuff that we know that the screen is doing something. And let somebody else tell it, and the screen is causing cancer. I'm not sure, just whatever. But take the screen away and make it a certain time for it.
Okay, that's one solution. And what's another solution?
You know what? In extreme cases, get help. Get medication. And I think that government entities and everything need to recognize that is a real problem, and they do need real help.
Okay, so you're saying therapy for who, the parents or the kids, or both?
Both. Because sometimes you can do therapy. You can actually regulate and put a kid into a structured environment. But then when they go home, they go back into the same environment in which they came and nothing's changed. And they will regress. So I think both need training.
Okay, so what has gotten you so interested in it? Is it because the professional capacity you're in is really starting to make you think that, if we don't stop this, what do you see happening?
I
If we
think
don't,
it's a number of things that got me really interested in it. One is that I'm deep, deep into alchemy, and I look at how it get this way, and I'm
okay.
always projecting on what's future to happen. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it's good, right? If we don't have any new leaders, we don't have any new professionals. We only got a limited amount, and yet, there's more people in the world. What do you do? I do think there should be advocacy, and I'm especially hurt when I see like these kids are so young and they cannot help regulate their emotions. But guess what? That
Hmm.
comes from also people in our generation that can't regulate emotion, can't regulate their thoughts, their anger, all of that. So I really think it's twofold on that report, on that part.
Do you see any correlation with how you were raised versus how kids are raised today? And was there a big difference that got you to where you are right now? Do you see any correlation or
No,
no?
because I don't think my parents listen to me any more than these parents don't listen to these kids, maybe. But I will say diet is different.
The what?
Diet, diet,
Oh, okay.
diet
All
is
right.
definitely different. We didn't have the screens.
So we didn't have the screens, and you're saying diet. Why don't you elaborate a little bit more on that about the diet? Do you think
Well,
today's diet is somehow affecting the mental health of today's youth?
if it affects the body, I think it affects the body in a whole. We know that a lot of the food is causing problems with people. So I would not even remotely be surprised about mental health. It's been known and said that red dye causes hyperactive kids to act worse, autistic kids to act worse. We know that sugar will make a kid bounce off the wall. It's no given. Um, and those things are stress related. Like you may think it's okay, he'll bounce off the wall, the sugar will run off, but it also causes a stress. It causes a cortisol level to rise and do things it's not supposed to in anybody. And anytime your cortisol go up, you're stressed. You're feeling some type of way that you didn't mean to.
Very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Tanisha. We're talking about the cost of mental health with Tanisha, and we'll be right back after this little short break. Thank you. If you're joining us, this is the Bennie Randall Show. I'm your host, Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator. You can learn more about me at BennieRandall.com or watch full episodes of all these wonderful Bennie Randall shows on YouTube at Vanoy Media, or go to our site and click the live tab, and you can watch the replays of these and many more powerful shows with powerful entrepreneurs. So we're talking about the cost of mental health. And what does that mean, with Tanisha? So let me ask you this, Tanisha. Outside of what we are experiencing with kids not being able to communicate with each other, with a lot of the kids being, how's the word should I use? They're being given medications to so-called stop the problem, which it never really stops the problem. And sometimes I believe it adds to the problem. Um,
Absolutely.
let's talk about the financial impact. Are there a lot of people making money off people being sick or people having mental health problems?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of money being made? And if so, please elaborate.
So pull your calculator out. Um, so people don't want to deal with it. Yeah, get your calculator out. So I'm gonna tell you, one kid that's super aggressive, the state can pay as much as 4,000 plus a day. And the average time to reprogram, so to speak, or get this kid more regulated, where they're not aggressive, maybe even a kid that doesn't talk, is about the average length of stay is 90 days. So take that 4,000 times 90 days. And then I will tell you that I've seen some of these kids to actually still be in the hospital after a year. So you can take that 4,000 times 365 days and you tell me what does it cost? And that's just one kid.
And who's making the money from this? And where's the money coming from?
The money is coming out of your tax dollars in most cases.
Mm, that's why I pay
Because
so much.
because let's be honest, the like you said, the rich people can hire someone to, to take care of their kids, to supplement other stuff for them to do. But the ones who don't have the money and the resources typically will lean on state services or whatever for help because that's all they can do. It's just not enough services that treat that. It's just not.
And I was about to just move to that by saying those who can't afford the proper health, they tend to suffer the most.
Mhm.
Um, you say they get help from the tax dollars, but is that at the same caliber of a wealthy person like myself, like
No,
who can hire people, whatever? And what is the difference between somebody who has the funds to hire the people versus somebody who's getting minimal health when it comes to
well,
the mental health that they
the
need?
difference is who doesn't have the money may use like state funded Medicaid or something like that, or a state chip service that treats children's health. So then their services are limited. But again, if the kid is bad enough off, they will do a one off and they will pay up to $4,200 or more a day. There is not an institution anywhere that pays that a day. Most behavioral health dollars are under $1,000 a day. But in these instances, these are extreme cases, and we're seeing more and more and more and more. I literally get 7 to 8 calls a day of somebody saying, "My kid just knocked me upside my head. My kid did this. Hey, can you get him in emergently?" There's no urgency because we get paid too much to have that urgency. We're not that ER. And so they go to the ER and they sit in there forever and ever and ever. And the people from the ER calling me forever and ever and ever. It's bad.
Wow. So what do you
It's
see? We have so much fun, man. The time goes so quick.
I
So
know.
let me ask you this. If I was to ask you, what is your area of most concern? What would you tell me?
My area of most concern would be the fact that when we were coming up, you might have seen a couple of kids who had autism. But now, for some odd reason, it's like they say it's 1 in 7, but I really think it's like 1 in 4, if not even a lower number than that. Like for
When you say 1 in 7 or 1 in 4, what do you mean by that?
every 4 kids, there's 4 kids, there's always one who has autism. That's a very, very high number. You never
And
see We never saw that many kids in one space, that had autism. You never did that. Never saw that. You might have had one.
and you think that is caused by what?
I think, well, there's
The
several
state of
different things.
affairs, where the
It
state
could
of
be
affairs, what we're in right now.
I think it is, but I mean, it's. I think it's a lot caused by the screen. They said it's definitely caused by the immunizations. It's been proven that that was the cause for a lot of autism in Black boys because of immunization and shots that they had to give. There's a big conspiracy and court issues about that. Again, stuff with the red, anything that has red dye in it is some kind of nerve agent in the red dye, and who knows? I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that can be considered, but I think it's alarming and nobody seems to be catching it until like y'all getting down to 1 in 2 kids having autism. That doesn't strike a problem. It is. It's like, what is the cost to take care of mental health, and what does it cost to have a truly healthy baby? I mean, if I really wanted to sit back and think about it, I'm pretty sure I got a touch of autism too. I mean, it's because autism is the big one. So it's like the big umbrella with all of these other diagnoses on the spectrum, from OCD to, I don't know, defiance disorder to multiple personality disorder. These all sit under autism. So it's like really weird. I'm not a major psych specialist, but it interests me big time.
Mm. So if I was to ask you, if you had all the power in the world beyond the president, right, what would be your plan to attack this part of the industry that seems to be affecting, whether you're black, white, green, or yellow, the mental health problem? What would you do? What would you implement to hopefully affect it in a positive and a powerful way? What would you implement if you had
I would,
all the power in the world to do it?
if I had all the power in the world, I would start with the things that I can change. And all the power in the world would have to give me access to money. So then I would probably create more services, stronger services and facilities and resources, so that these parents could get some help, so that they could learn how to take care of their own kid, so that they're not a drain on the system, things of that nature. I would definitely create more facilities and resources. That would be the first thing I would do. Because you're not going to be able to tell people what to feed their kid, how to change that. I mean, you can suggest, but I'm not a dictator. So I would definitely start with the stuff that I can do, and most
Think
importantly, educating them.
right. You think that's what's lacking?
Mhm.
Do what? My last question. What about all of the extracurricular activities that are being taken out of schools, where now it's just like you go to school, half of the time you're learning on a computer yourself. And, a lot of people are not even doing recess anymore, where kids can go out and be kids, communicate with each other, learn how to deal with each other, learn to negotiate the world that we're in right now. Um, it seems like we're going to place at the point of no return, because those kids eventually be the people that are running the world we live in right now. What do you see for the
Those are
future?
going to be the ones that operate the AI. So I have a friend that's a
So you say
surgeon.
AI is going to control the world? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I said it's gonna be some kids that run the AI, and that's about it. But I mean, honestly, the AI has to be managed. So, example, I got a friend of mine. He's a surgeon, and he does the robotics. And he said, my worst nightmare happened. I said, what happened? And he was doing the surgery through the robot, and the robot broke. The robot just quit right in the middle of being inside of somebody. And so, being that he is a very skilled surgeon, he was able to go in there, remove it, take it apart, blah, 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 and then go in and physically go in and do that surgery. So there are some flaws to having a bunch of AI run
Mm,
everything. But I think
scary.
COVID, yeah, but I think COVID gave us a big window on what's to come, when everybody was trapped in their house. Basically, Netflix probably made more money they ever made in their life. you know,
And DoorDash and delivery services and
absolutely.
liquor, anything that could be delivered to your house was making money. So let's be really clear on that, okay? Let's be really
Yeah,
clear on that.
I mean, but look at all the other stuff that didn't happen. There was no drunk driving accidents. It probably wasn't no car accidents hardly.
Yeah, not unless the DoorDash guys was running into each other with their bikes.
But guess what business was also booming?
What was
Mine,
that?
because those people did not want to be at home with their damn kids.
So what was the business?
A children's hospital for special needs and all of that. I ended up, it started off with a small 1 or 2 kids. I ended up with the most waiting list. I mean, the waiting list was just out of control, because people hadn't had to be at home with their kids like that.
So you mean that they was having breakdowns themselves, huh?
The kids was breaking down, the parents were breaking down, everybody was. It was like cabin fever set in times 10, and you got one that's but even though, so here's what I'm getting from a lot of people since COVID, those kids who caught COVID are having some residual behaviors and attitudes, and they're blaming that on COVID. Who knows?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Mhm. I
All
mean,
right.
I'm telling you, my wait list is through the roof.
Wow. We're getting down to the last one. When you're having fun, the time goes so fast. So let
I
me
know
ask
it's a
you,
good topic.
what are your final thoughts, Tanisha?
Um, if we don't do something soon, like collectively find a reason behind it or get an understanding. I think it's really just get an understanding and take a moment to be educated on something, even if it doesn't affect you now. Because yeah, my kids don't have autism, so it's not a big deal to me, right? But it's going to hit me in the long run financially because I'm paying for somebody else's kid. So, what are you paying these taxes for? What is going on? And this is actually something that is, to me, I think is worthy. And this is something, instead of paying taxes on this, I think more money needs to be put into that. So I'm hoping that it helps. And there are parents dying at the hand of their kids now. Some of these can get really aggressive and really bad. You've seen the little guy that killed his mom because he wanted to buy a video game.
Wow. Yes, I heard that story. It's very, very sad. If you can leave a message for the youth of today, I'm going to give you the floor. You've had it all this time, but if you can talk directly to the kids, what would you tell them right now?
You don't want to know. I would I want them to reach out to me to explain what they're feeling because I just think they don't have anybody to listen to. I would tell them to search out somebody that listens to them. A lot of kids don't feel like talking to their parents. I would validate how they feel. How you feel is every bit of valid, but let's talk about different effective ways to act it out or to act on it. I don't want every kid calling me, but I'll take a few phone calls. I'll give him Benny's number.
That'll be it. That number is no longer in service. I stick to where I am. Okay, so we're gonna leave it just like that. I know my place. Okay, so
So you know
but if
your
people,
limitations. I'm like, I know mine.
exactly. So if people want to learn more about you, Tanisha, where can they reach out to you if that's possible?
They can definitely go through one of Benny's sites, but they can also catch me on what Tanisha said on Instagram or Facebook. Um, and then maybe opening back up to whattanishasaid.com. But definitely just any other social media outlet, I'm available.
I thank you so much, Tanisha, for being on the Bennie Randall Show, where we believe it's your business to know. I'm gonna put you in the green room, and let me close this out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such an important topic. We can talk about this for days and days, and I hope what we want to do here is at least start the conversation, because I think there's a lot of people that are not even starting the conversation. And I think it's absolutely important that we start the conversation, because mental health is, I think, becoming a bigger problem than most people anticipated. Okay. And with that, I want to thank Tanisha for coming on the Bennie Randall Show, where we believe it's your business to know. And if you want to learn more about me, you can reach out to me at BennieRandall.com, or you can go over to Vanoy Media at YouTube and watch full episodes of the Bennie Randall Show. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I love you. You hear what I said? I love you, and you can't do a damn thing about it. Good night.